This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. Biology and psychology help researchers, medical professionals, and psychologists to understand the behavior of human beings and animals. Therefore, biological psychology is used to examine the behavior of humans and animals to facilitate in the treatment of the brain. Biological psychology is also referred to as behavioral neuroscience, biopsychology, clinical neuropsychology, and physiological psychology. Biological psychologists use the knowledge that they acquire from psychology to help them treat mental illness cases efficiently. They also focus on issues related to mental processes and how they are initiated in the brain. The goal of this paper, therefore, is to define biological psychology, discuss the historical development of biological psychology, stipulate important theorists who are associated with biological psychology, show the relationship between biological psychology and other fields of psychology and neuroscience, and discuss the major assumptions of that are associated with biopsychology. Biological psychology. Biopsychology studies human emotional and affective processes, thereby helping biological psychologists to devise ways of assisting people to cope with different mental problems. It focuses on the brain and how it influences the performance of the entire nervous system. In this case, it focuses on people's ability to think, feel, learn, perceive, and sense. Studies reveal that these characteristics are similar in humans and animals. It also focuses on the biological processes that influence normal and abnormal behavior in humans and animals. Historical development of biological psychology. The environment influences the evolution process of human beings and animals. As the state of the environment changes, the behavior of human beings and animals also changes to help them adapt to their new surroundings. As a result, indeed, biology and psychology work together to help people understand the relationship between human and animal behavior. Therefore, the idea of biopsychology was first put into practice during the Greek era. It was adopted between the 18th and 19th centuries. In this case, Plato proposed that the brain is the vital organ that facilitates reasoning. On the other hand, Descartes stipulated that the mind and body work in a different manner. He argued that the mind is non-physical and that it influences behavior among human beings and animals. Researchers and theorists who supported biological psychology made it possible for people to understand mental illnesses deeply and how they influence people's behaviors. However, when the concept of biological psychology was proposed, many people argued that it would not be possible to understand how the brain works without touching and testing it. As a result, animals were dissected and tested to help people understand the complexities that are found in the brain. Without testing the brain, it would not be possible for people to understand how the brain works. Today, many psychologists, researchers, and doctors are working hard to help them treat those people who have mental problems. However, they cannot manage to treat people who have mental problems if they do not understand the functions of the brain thoroughly. Theorists associated with biological psychology. The major theorists associated with biological psychology are René Descartes, Thomas Willis, and Luigi Galvani. Descartes believed that the flow of animal spirits influences their behavior. He also believed that human beings follow the same trend. On the other hand, Thomas Willis stipulated that the structure of the brain influences the behavior of human beings and animals. He is associated with the discovery of the white and gray matter that is present in the brain. Moreover, Luigi Galvani stipulated that the nervous tissues are powered by electricity. Relationship between biopsychology and other fields of psychology and neuroscience. Biopsychology is a vital area of study because it supplies information to all fields of psychology. This is because all fields of psychology focus on the study of behaviors and the functions of the brain. Moreover, studies show that biological psychologists study cognitive neuroscience, evolutionary psychology, and neuropsychology. For example, biopsychology analyzes behavioral problems and how they influence the performance of the brain and the nervous system. Other fields of psychology and neuroscience follow the same trend. Therefore, it is true that biopsychology is related to psychology and neuroscience. Assumptions associated with biopsychology. Studies reveal that social, psychological, and biological factors influence the mental and physical well-being of a person. As a result, various assumptions support the validity of biopsychology. Two assumptions govern biopsychology. The first assumption stipulates that mental processes influence biological processes. On the other hand, biological processes influence mental processes. Therefore, it is true that both mental and biological processes are related to each other. Conclusion. From the analysis, therefore, it is true that biopsychology is a branch of psychology. Biopsychology adopts biological concepts to explain animal and human behavior. However, if medical professionals, researchers, and psychologists fail to develop a better understanding of the human mind, the term biopsychology will cease to exist. Therefore, it is true that human beings should learn more about the brain so that they can be able to address the complexities of the brain efficiently. If you want to find more works like this essay on biological psychology, development and theories, head over to ivypanda.com. It has a collection of free samples with thousands of submissions covering virtually all academic subjects. No registration required to access it.